Hello. Today I'm diving deep into red blushes. I think red is definitely the blush of the moment. This color has the ability to mimic a gorgeous sun-kissed flush, which I personally think pinks can never do. We have the beautiful reds, which, surprise, was actually the secret to the iconic Victoria's Secret Angels makeup. Rosemary Swift, the founder of RMS, worked on Victoria's Secret for a couple of years and apparently used red blush for that quintessential angel look. I have divided my red blushes into 4 categories: the toasted burgundy reds, the deep berry reds, the true reds, and the warm reds. The toasted burgundy reds are in the deeper category, but I think it looks heavenly, especially in between fall and summer. This creates a moody, sun-kissed look that I didn't know was possible from what seems to be a cooler toned shade. I recommend getting a similar shade in a multi-stick formula because this looks so elegant on the lips as well. I have 3 shades in this category. The first is from Inc Cosmetics in the shade Forbidden Fruit, a toasted pomegranate in my favorite serum blush formula. A serum blush is thinner than a regular liquid blush. It usually feels more skin-like, but by no means is it less pigmented than regular liquids. I have really dry skin and love the finish this gives. It's moderately dewy, so it sets in cooler months, but in the summer when I have really sweaty skin, it only sets to about maybe 90%. Even though I have severely dry skin in the wintertime, it has a great ability to still make my skin look plump. That's why I love this so much. I only have a handful of blushes that can give my cheeks a healthy glow in sub-zero temperature. The shade is on my right cheek, and it has more brown than red, so it looks extra toasty. The next shade is still from Inc Cosmetics. Side note, I really do love this brand. I think they're truly underrated and I dare anyone to try their products and not love it. My only gripe is that it is expensive to ship to Canada, so I recommend timing your purchase with sales from their website if you're in the same area. I have the shade Bitten in the So Soft Cream Stick formula, which seems to have more red than Forbidden Fruit and is described as a rich berry shade. I think this formula is outstanding for a variety of skin tones because it starts creamy and then diffuses into a powder-like finish, so not only is it pigmented, it's also very blurring and easy to use. The last blush in this category is from Sunniesface. I absolutely love this Filipino makeup brand. It's one of the pasalubongs I bring myself every time I go home. And I'm sure there are a lot of other excellent Filipino makeup right now, but I did move after local makeup started to get popular, so I'm just not physically there to try newer brands. Anyways, I have their Airbrush Cream Cheek Tint in the shade Moon, which is described as a toasty rose. This is a moussey velvet cream formula that I personally prefer over their liquid blushes. I think this is a more unique finish than their liquid blush, and I do love this on the lips as well. This looks as toasty as Forbidden Fruit if you compare the 3 shades together. By the way, I only use bronzer on my forehead and I did switch my base into the Dior Stick Foundation just because the Summer Friday skin tint was getting a bit too wet for reapplying over and over again. And that's it for the first category, beautiful moody shades. I'm very happily surprised actually that you can achieve a flushed look without shades being overly warm. It's just a testament to how deeper toned blushes can look so alluring as a sun-kissed blush. The next category is the deep reds, still very moody shades, but with more pink or purple in them compared to the last colors. Because this is leaning quite cool, I don't use them as much in warmer months. However, if you do need cold girl vibes, this will be your favorite. I'm starting with Refy in the shade Wine. It is described as a deep red with a hint of purple. I'm a little bit confused because this is called a lip blush, but I swear I saw it being marketed as a cream cheek product as well. I don't know. I usually don't go overboard with using other products outside of their intended purposes just because I used to have horrible acne prone skin, and if it's obviously formulated for one part of the face, they haven't done as much testing on the other areas. I probably spaced out again, but yeah, this seems to be a lip product. Sorry for recommending this as a blush. Just, be warned. All in all, it has not broken me out, and I do love this on the cheeks more than on the lips. You can definitely see more pink or purple compared to the first category, and nonetheless, this shade seems to be as toasty. The second shade certainly has more pink in it. This is from Rose Inc in the shade Azalea, which is described as a berry blush. This is a multi-use cream product and I'm actually obsessed with it on the lips as it is on the cheeks. I always feel like this is a youthful shade and I love the color it gives, especially in the colder months. It's very sad that Rose Inc seems to be exiting Sephora. I know they had a whole debacle with a change in ownership. This was one of the brands that blew me away with the formulation, refillable packaging, and very carefully thought out shades. Rosie was a true visionary, and I do still hold her products in very high regard. The blush is no exception, of course. I have 6 shades, and this is truly one of my favorites. The last shade in this category is from Jouer. It's another lip and cheek formula in the shade Be Loud, which is described as a bright rose. This formula is a bit more drier, but not in a bad way. It's still emollient, however, I don't recommend swiping this across the cheek for a better blend. This is stunning on the cheeks, but even more on the lips, I would say. It also lasts a really long time, so I think oilier skin types will benefit from this if products are, always sliding off your face. This has a bit more of a rosy tone, very feminine, very demure. So that's it for the second category. Although the colors are still a bit moody, they're also very delicate shades. I love a softer application to complement the tones. Again, very feminine, beautiful shades. Next up are the true reds. If you struggle with red blushes looking orange, I think these shades will be right up your alley. A lot of people are usually intimidated by blue tone reds, but I think they can still look very natural. I use this all year round. The first shade is from Valentino Beauty in a powder formula. The shade is called 05 Rosso Valentino, a red coral rose. If you try this blush, there are light reflecting pearls mixed with a pigment, so this is a little bit glowy. But compared to the other shades, 05 sheen is a bit more muted. The others are borderline metallic almost. If you have fair skin, I do recommend applying in very light layers until you achieve the level of pigment you prefer, as this shade can be quite overwhelming very fast. It's very easy to sheer this out, and it's also very buildable. I feel like this one is a little less blue tone compared to the other shades, but that may be just from the light reflecting pearls mixed with the pigment. This is such a sophisticated blush, so pretty, but also very expensive. The next one is one of my favorite cream multi-stick formulas, and it is from Persona Cosmetics. I adore the brand and their products. The shade Kiss is described as a cool cherry red. It is quite pigmented, so I think deeper skin tones will love this as well. And I feel like this is a dewier version of the So Soft blushes from M Cosmetics. They're both very blendable, highly pigmented, and even have similar packaging. The formula is emollient, but it's not overly dewy. Sometimes when the formula is dewy, especially for a blush, it can actually emphasize the texture around your cheek, and this doesn't do that. It's actually a bit blurring for something that's so dewy. It's quite impressive. The last true red is from Chanel. It's a cream lip and cheek balm in the shade 1 Red Camellia. This feels like a little sister to Kiss, both of them being multi-use for the lips and cheeks, almost identical shades, and both having a dewy finish. But because red is high contrast on my skin tone, I do prefer Chanel as it's more sheer and definitely looks softer compared to Persona. Both beautiful products, but this is more of an everyday formula for me. That being said, I feel like on a personal level, this is the blush Rosemary Swift was talking about when she shared her time at Victoria's Secret. It creates a perfect flush for me, kind of replicating the color when I'm in the sun or on vacation, but instead of being red everywhere, it's strategically placed. I feel like true red blushes encapsulates dark feminine energy, and I'm so here for that. I also love how these shades are so long lasting. Just note though that if you have moderate redness in your cheeks like me, you have to find a way to balance out the application. Otherwise, it might look splotchy, maybe a bit too red or clownish. Last but not the least, the warm reds. I feel like this is a less intense version of the true reds. It's definitely more natural in tone. If you notice though that red blushes translates to orange on your skin, this may not be the best for you because I think there's more orange to these shades than what you would like. For me, I love warmth on red tones. I would use this if I want a more youthful, summery look. First up is the Rosy Glow Powder Blush in 015 Cherry from Dior, described as a cherry red. The pink shade of this one broke the internet and caused a lasting cool pink era, but I'm so happy that we're finally moving on. I think it was quite a few years until any other blush shade was in the spotlight, right? This claims to have an innovative formula that will react to skin's moisture level, so each shade is going to be customized to your skin. I think a lot of formulas already have that effect, and maybe just color theory in general. But anyways, this is so gorgeous. I don't know how it's such a pop of color and a soft shade of blush at the same time. Like, it's so bright but super soft on my cheeks. I don't know how to describe it. Another warm red is from Hourglass. I think this is a serum formula because it's quite runny and feels just like a skincare serum. Regular liquid blushes like Rare Beauty are usually not as fluid as this one, and this separates if you don't shake it well. It is in the shade Future, described as a warm coral. I love this shade to add natural warmth to my face. I'm not obsessed with the packaging though. I either get too little or too much, but that's okay because it's almost an identical dupe, albeit more expensive, to one of my favorite blushes of all time. The last blush is Sunset Sky from Cosmetics. It's almost empty, which is saying a lot because I never finish my products, and it's still in the old packaging, so for sure I will repurchase a new one if I make another order from the brand. I still do have Hourglass in Future, which is very, very similar, so the tiniest bit left in here is still okay for me. Sunset Sky is a serum blush described as a warm coral. Warm reds in general just look so inviting on my skin tone, and it feels like you just had a tropical vacation. This is dewier, so I use this more in the winter, and Hourglass in the summer. And that was finally the last blush. In conclusion, when my skin is looking dull, warm reds are usually my best friend. It just brings so much life to your makeup. So I recommend this one if we have similar complexion. So quick recap, this is Forbidden Fruit, Bitten, Moon, Wine, Azalea, Be Loud, Rosso Valentino, Red Camellia, Kiss, Cherry, Sunset Sky, and Future. So there you have it, all the red blushes in my makeup collection. Thank you for watching. Bye.